WRFG Atlanta.
Good morning, blues. We'll brighten up your day as you put on your shoes. Yeah, yeah. You know it's got to be the way to wake up each and every day on WRFG in Atlanta. Good morning, blues.
Good morning, blues.
Thursday, June the 11th, and welcome. Good Morning Blues Part 2. It's going to be a little, shall we say, estranged from negative and blues this week. It's about love, and God knows we need it now more than any time I can think of. And I didn't plan this. Things plan themselves in my life, and I just let them happen. And they're all good. But this was on my calendar 30 days ago, not knowing what we may have had to deal with for the last week. And my guest, even he was planned long before, and the interview was recorded before. But I can't think of a better time to put this in. The plan was strictly because I try and change things up. Let's see, 4 weeks ago, we had a very heavy week of New Orleans funk, soul, jazz, some rockin' stuff, celebrating what we were missing in 2 festivals down there. Then we had Sass Jordan, the great Canadian rockin' blues lady who tore it up. Then we had serious heavy rock, almost metal, with Carmine Appice, the drummer, and his background. And then David Clayton Thomas from Blood, Sweat and Tears. Still rocky, a little older style maybe, and some more jazzy influences. But I said, okay, we're coming down the ladder. We're chilling out. We've got to get down to ground zero and have a couple of hours of just very cool, jazzy, beautiful music, great lyrics delivered with superb voices. And this is how this show came around, but not just because I wanted to tone down the fact that it's National Loving Day tomorrow, and what was the other one? Gosh, I've forgotten. Something about making a beautiful day. 2 days that are set aside to celebrate. It was all steered perfectly into place. And I thought about all the great loving songs and voices and jazzy, soulful things that I could knit together, and the voices that would be represented. And I thought of Bill Withers, Boz Scaggs you're going to hear today. And would you believe Boz Scaggs, 76, yesterday. Talk about tying it in. But the guy I really want to tie you into is Mr. Gordon Haskell. And for that, I got to take you back to 1973. And it's a comical, interesting, strange piece of karma. But it's an example of what I've been talking about. It happens to me all the time. It happens if I believe in it, and it happens to other people just like you if you will just sit back and say, this is the way it's going to be. It's something I want or I need for someone else, and it's just going to happen. Not always quite the way you plan it, but. So I just passed my driving test within the space of maybe a few months, and I was keen to get out and go to see some shows, whatever, without having to take the bus. So a girl in my church, Joy Johnson, I said, let's you and me go catch a show, because I kind of thought we might hit it off, etc. So we go to Isleworth Polytechnic. Everything was done in colleges in those days. Most of the shows that I could afford. So there's an Irish duo who had some really captivating, interesting songs called Tin Anog. And I bought tickets and off we went. I had no clue that there was going to be an opening act. Didn't know, didn't care. Sometimes things just come about. So we're sitting on the floor, as you do. There were no chairs. You sit on the hall floor at the college and the act comes on. You know, if it was Stackridge or one of the other bands I loved, you'd be dancing, bouncing around, doing whatever was relevant. But this was a quiet listening show. So it seems totally appropriate when this chap comes out that I knew nothing about, and he was the opening act. And I was just caught by surprise at a great song called It'll Have to Be Some Other Day. And I was very much into what was happening and not realizing, I guess I was ignoring my date or something. But let's just say she decided it'll have to be another day after that. That was my introduction to this guy. And the best way I can help you understand is this is an album of throwaways. These were discarded bits that somebody said, oh, you got anything kicking around in the back garden that we can shove together? So he sent these in, and Voice Print put out an album of these songs. This is just a quick medley of 5 or 6 pieces as an introduction to a time period of Mr. Gordon Haskell.
Anytime you want to talk it through, I'll be sitting waiting for my cue. If there's anything I can do for you, I won't be happy till you're by my side. Only you can keep me satisfied. Loving you is all I've ever tried to do. But every time I ask you to dance, I'm just too shy to talk romance. So just a little help will do. I'm looking for a little help from you. Well, since I first saw your face, I glanced for days and thought of ways I could tell you. But it's so hard to do the closer I get to you. 'Cause every time I ask you to dance, I'm just too shy to talk romance. So just a little help will do. I'm looking for a little help from you. Since I first saw your face, where I was born, there's your photograph, faded and torn. And I've held it from the day when nothing in this world would make you stay. There's a school we used to go where the teacher still says hello, and the priest tells me to pray, but nothing in this world would make you stay. And I know I got a dead-end job, and I tend to live it day to day. And I understood your letter, how you wanted something better. But I was sometimes, when I'm lonely, not feeling quite as strong. I try to be, but part of me is telling me you're gone. I'm over the worst of it, over my thirst for it. Have to admit, it took me some time. Didn't expect it, became disconnected. I cried and screamed the house down, having to face what I knew all along. The worst of it is you stayed all the time. I thought you loved me. It was the two of us against the world. But now we seem on different sides. Are you in love or compromised? Is it guilt I read in your eyes? 'Cause I feel the earth beneath my feet just slipping away. All I can do is close my eyes and pray. If I have to live my life without you, tell me what do broken-hearted my destiny is in your power. I wrestle with every hour. It must be you controlling me. I am where you want me to be. Every night, every day, I long to hear you call and say, I'm in need, don't delay. Can I come round right away? 'Cause you're what I want, you're what I need. You rattle my jeans and you pull on my leaf. You're what I want when I'm taking the stage. Don't keep your rag locked up in a cage.
So there you have snippets of a quiet acoustic, what he called the throwaway album, called Just a Plot to Drive You Crazy, Mr. Gordon Haskell. He is going to be my guest today. You are going to love it because there's so much more about him that you don't know. Of course, unless you decide to look up Wikipedia, which I know you guys are far too engrossed in the show to sit and bother with things like that. But just to give you a quick spin backwards from 73, from Dorset, he grew up and went to school with Robert Fripp. So that would explain why at a later date he was part of King Crimson in the beginning. More interestingly, right before that, the band Fleur de Lis, which people often call I think it's the English version of Booker T and the MGs, but he's going to tell you about those years. After a few things bouncing around doing band stuff, he said, you know what, I'm better off doing my thing. And he was absolutely right. So from the time period that I saw him play at this show, he went on and on and on and traveled and delivered shows around the world, made multiple solo albums that even he's forgotten he's done, including a tribute album to Michael Franks, who he was very tuned into, and that was his homage, I guess. Anyway, coming right up to around the year 2001-2, and out of nowhere, he has a number 2 single and a platinum-selling album from this song.
I go out most nights, attracted by the lights, listen to the jazz in Harry's bar. And I know it won't be long before they play that song. Do you know how wonderful you are? It's a sentimental sound, make me wanna fool around with somebody who is wishing on a star. I'll pull my hat down low, go up and say hello. Do you know how wonderful you are? I've always struggled with the art of conversation, And there'll be those for whom the song has no appeal. But I know it works for me, and I'm sure you will agree that it illustrates exactly how I feel. Things can happen fast. Some things are built to last. I've seen it all go down in Harry's bar. Though we've only just begun, this show will run and run. Do you know how wonderful?
Donate your car, truck, or boat. It's easy. We can put it to good use, and you get a tax receipt. Call our toll-free number. We pick up your vehicle, running or not. We send you a tax receipt, and it takes just a few minutes. Call toll-free 844-WRFG-CAR. That's 844-973-4227 to arrange a free pickup. Proceeds will benefit WRFG 89.3 FM, WRFG.org, your station for progressive information and hand-picked quality music. Thank you.
So there probably would jog your memory if you were around, your ears were around speakers at the time, and the song How Wonderful You Are, and the album Harry's Bar. And there were so many different connections that got played worldwide. So you have an international hit, and life changes, and fame doesn't necessarily always mean fortune. We've heard this story 1,000 times about what should have and didn't. But there you go. So very disheartened with the way he was treated and the way too many other people jumped on the bandwagon, and everybody, takes a piece of you. Eventually he said, you know what? I'm going to bugger off to Greece, and you can all bugger off too. So disappeared over there, enjoying life, doing what he should have done, probably all along for 10 years. But unfortunately, Greece got into a spot of bother about 3 or 4 years ago. And as we all know, things collapsed around us here in America in 2008. It was pretty bad. Came back and settled into creating a solution, which is the album that you're going to hear a lot of today. And it's absolutely killer. So that sets the tone. It's about love. It's about jazzy, great feelings, great music from proper musicians, and hopefully an antidote to so much that's been negatively pounding the media day and night and in our brains, and we are absolutely shocked at what we're seeing, hearing, feeling around the country. So I think for the next 2 hours, it's not going to hurt to think about the people that you spend time with, those that you're connected to, your significant others, how you feel, because a lot of it has been washed out of your head by some of the stuff that's going on. And there's also plenty of people out there that are looking for some of those things to come into their lives. And I think the more you hear this kind of music with great lyrics and meaning and delivered by real musicians, it will affect you in a way that will perhaps act as your pilot and guide you where you need to be to take part in the sheer volume of love that's out there if you're available and want to participate. And can't think of anything better to do. So you're going to hear from a lot of artists you already knew, with little medleys of them in the same vein. And then you're going to have a nice old chat with Gordon Haskell himself about this amazing album called The Cat That's Got the Cream. Best way to purchase anything that you hear is go straight to his website, gordonhaskell.com, simply because he'll sign it and send it to you. And it's much nicer to have some real hard copy product in your hand, signed by the author, so to speak. But you just got to wait a few more days for it to come from deepest, darkest, sunny Dorset.
It's a long way home, it's late, and yet we pretend. It's a long way home when you called last night, just friends. so cool, so clear, so nonchalant, so absolutely what I want. Hey, Miss Riddle, I'm stuck in the middle again. I've heard a lot of talk about how you were sizing me up. A line or two you've dropped about, but don't let me interrupt your game is riddle. I'm stuck in the middle again. I found out why those birds go looking for spring. I found out what those dizzy heights can bring. 'Cause I found your lips so awfully nice, one stop south of paradise. What you say, Miss Riddle? What say we do it again? Again. Smile, a song, a tender kiss. Thanks to you. Thanks to you. There's a thing I think I know, I really mean, a variations on that theme. Thanks to you, I have time to turn, time to cool and time to burn. And thanks to you, there's something certainly too good to miss. In other words, a way through this. And just when one might feel so perfectly alone, there's someone else's stuff to trip on besides one's own. Thanks to you. One can only guess what happens next. As it is, I bark and stumble through a world gone quite absurd, dodging shadows, lurching through the rain. I'm not complaining, but I'm caught. With or without you, I'd have to get through this anyway. She was too good to me. How can I get along now? So close she stood to me. Everything seems all wrong now. She would have brought me the sun, making me smile. That was her fun. If I was mean to her, she'd never say go away now. I was a king to her, who's gonna light my way now? It's only natural, I'm so blue. All my pictures are falling from the wall where I placed them yesterday. The world is turning, I hope it don't turn away. I lead a crowd of people, but I can't face them day to day. I need a crowd of people, but I can't face them day to day. Though my problems are meaningless, that don't make them go away. I need a crowd of people, but I can't face them. Taxis, lights, pull out of sight, round the lane and into the night. Goodbye this time, maybe the last. Might have to cry, might have to lie, might have to die. Look, evening song didn't last long. Dreamed I was right, sussed I was wrong. So I make my way through an empty day. I might have to cry, might have to lie, might have to die a little this time. Never believed she would leave. I forgot about last time. When she walked out this morning, I went out of my mind. I'll try to smile, pretend it never happened. Leave him slow, but leave him laughing. I'll try to find down to the last. Might have to cry, might have to lie. Tired of seeing some plaything acting like a toy. Tired of watching some fool trying to be your boy. And I don't like being the one seeing you in tears, standing in the shadows, staring out at love again. But I'll be the one. I'm the one reminding you that you've got a choice. I'm the one to let you know that I hear your voice. Time and again I catch you smiling from within, but standing empty-hearted, standing in the wings again. I'll be the one. I can't be the one to catch you every time you fall. I ain't the one to answer every time you call. But maybe I'm gonna be the one to see you through it all. Oh, 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 Your head line is dead. So please don't come singing that sad song anymore, 'cause it just doesn't matter to me. Find another fantasy, yeah. Go on, fly back to your plane. Just a game I ain't playing. So please, you won't be running that game on me no more, 'cause you're gone, baby, gone to me. You ain't coming back, 'cause you're gone, baby, gone to me. Sense of feeling, let it always be sense of feeling. There's no end to our love, our hopes, our dreams, our sighs. No end at all, no sad goodbyes, no fears, no tears, no love that dies. It's sense of feeling, let it always be sense of feeling. Never ending, the sunlit days, the moonlit nights, the sea, the sand, the starry heights are yours and mine forever. All we are and all we know is love, and love alone. And so the world may spin its weary way, its lonely night and lonely day, while we go floating far above in never-ending timeless love. Is sense of feeling.
This isn't rocket science if you would just play Boz Scaggs, Bill Withers, Gordon Haskell, and a handful of other people. You would really feel a whole lot better and de-stress from today's tough times. We've got to worry about our health. We've got to socially distance and yet be close to people. Yeah, see how that's working. We've got to deal with a lot of unrest, quite correctly so. Not easy. No money. A lot of people with no jobs. We're waiting for this all to come back. And as I've been saying for weeks, yes, be careful. But please, get out there, drive the economy. You need it as much as the next person. You need the work, you need the money, you need to be part of the planet. But if you can step out with some love in your heart and some happy thoughts, then I think you'll do a better job. So that's really what today is all about. A couple of hours of tying you down. But also, you get to chat with someone that's pretty unique in my book. Took me a lot of years to catch up with him, my God. Let me count backwards. No, I don't want to do that. 46 years later, I get to track the guy down. And we dissect and spill the beans. So let's go.
Hi, this is Dana Gillespie from London, England, to tell you about the second best way to wake up. Just tune in to UK Bob and his Good Morning Blues show and feel good for 4 hours on WRFG Atlanta.
Well, it's Good Morning Blues. It's Thursday. It's time for your usual installment of manic music and mayhem, but more importantly, have a wonderful guest for you to chat to and listen to today, Mr. Gordon Haskell. How are you, Gordon?
Pretty good, Bob. How are you?
I'm just hoping that the extra little sneak additive I put in my coffee will get me through the next 2 hours. I can't tell anybody on the air what it is, so.
I'm silent on the matter.
Very diplomatic of you. So, what a beautiful album that I've been playing the last few days. And all I can say is it seems to me like you let go. It's joy. It's a lover's album for all, and for all people, and for all. It has all genres in it too. But I've just felt like you sat back and go, boom, here's how I feel, and without the handcuffs.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate synopsis. It's like the culmination of, God, that's a long word, culmination of your lifetime's practicing, and suddenly you're going to let go because you've got all your chops together. It's effortless to sing. You can write a good tune because you've been practicing for years. If you can't do it now, you're never going to be able to. And it just all came out in the same month. And the writing was of the highest standard I've ever reached. So the singing, I didn't realise that I'd been improving slowly. You don't. If you leave gaps between albums and you gig and gig and gig and gig, you don't notice yourself getting better every year. And you think you'll be the same, but I haven't stopped. If you had a graph, it would just be starting in 66 and going to 2020, and it's all in a straight line northwards. Conversely, if you look at the record business and you draw a line, it's all in a straight line going south.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's crazy how that happens. And the way I looked at it was, this is an album for love past and present, extinct and existing, all in
real.
one thing.
It's real. It's from a real experience that happened. 8 weeks before it went on to record it. It was so raw. When your entire world fell apart in a foreign country. We were living in Greece, and the Greek economy was destroyed by the banks. So our economy was destroyed, and that in turn coincided with just eating away a marriage, because there was a frustration. You can't get back to England because you've lost all your money, and if you're not careful, you're going to lose your wife. That's exactly what happened. So I found myself having lost absolutely everything. There's nothing left of a lifetime's work, and I rented an apartment, and the songs all came out. Heartbreak and knowledge and wise songs and how you're going to get out of this. And funnily enough, it sounds very positive because I've actually turned the luck around from bad luck. I turned it all around, and my wife came back. And it was the most emotional roller coaster I've ever experienced. And that's why I think it's so, I'll have to say it, I'm allowed to say it at 74. That's why it's so good, because it's so real.
It is real, and I can feel that, and that's what I picked up on. It does have one failure to it, though.
It does?
Trying to pick the best one, because I love the whole bloody thing.
Yeah, I ended up liking the country one best.
Well, that's weird. Wish you'd say that, because I hesitated on whether I should mention that track number 4, how that came across, but still trying to figure it out, because I thought maybe I've been in America too long, but that definitely has a country tinge to it, you know.
And it's a good, it's so real. It's like we are still trying to figure it out in some ways. You know, we've got a lot of it right by now, but when you if you have the misfortune to catch the evening news, makes you wonder. You know that.
I gather news for 5 minutes on 3 different sources to get everybody's opinion.
A balanced lie.
Yeah, and that's it for the day. Because I will interpret that, and I will go swinging down the lane, being me, the rest of that day, in the knowledge that, okay, well, I've heard what I've been told, and that's all I need to know. I'm off now. And
it's a fiction. It's a fiction, and more fakery. And I think they've borrowed their whole. I think the world and its power structure and politics and banks, they've all borrowed it from show business, because show business is nothing more fake than the fakery of certain show business people. And they become actors, you know, like the politicians. They read a script, and I think they borrowed the whole thing from show business. It's like acting, it's like reading a script. Don't vary from the script. No ad-libbing. You know what I mean? And
it's funny because I use the term often here when I say something's been sprayed with Hollywood, because it changes people. And you and I talked about a recent interview that I did about the person involved, and when other people knew that was going to happen, they were all rah-rah and complimentary. Well, I know for a fact that they don't like each other at all, but they were going through the whole bootlicking process to still be part of the clan, and I won't be in that clan.
Yeah, when I got my number 2 album, number 2 single in 2002, Greg Lake sort of posted me, "Welcome to the club," you know. like we went to school. In the school days, we all knew each other, but because I wasn't a big-time rock star, I wasn't welcome to the club until I had a number 2 album. And I thought, you bloody idiot, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Just an idiot.
That's a membership card I don't want.
Yeah, like the Marx Brothers.
Yeah. I worked, I'd say the last 10 years of my corporate working life I despised, because I was putting on a suit and basically doing what I was told, and no one else really was buying into anything that anyone else was doing. I was a mercenary to the dollar bill, and that's all part of my escape at 52. But one of the things that made me laugh was after I retired and got away from all that, I book music now, a music venue in town, and I do this. That's how I stay super busy day and night. But I get a letter from Delta Airlines in the mail. "Welcome to the Million Miler Club." Now, I wasn't working in that business anymore, and I thought, God, is that what I have to be proud of the million miles I wasted sitting on airplanes in a suit, going to see people that I wasn't interested in, and they weren't interested in me.
Yeah, it's amazing how wrong they can be.
Well, that's okay, because we've got it all sorted out with this wonderful piece of plastic. It's amazing how just a few inches of round stuff can affect you. The cat who's got the cream. We're talking to Gordon Haskell. We're going to play you some music now, and I'm going to start off with what I think is the most. I won't use the word commercial. The most attractive, palatable track, and you're probably going to figure out before I come back, Gordon, what it is, but we're going to jump in right now and let them hear a taster on the Drive Time Show.
When did my sunny skies all turn to gray? Whatever happened to you're here to stay? I've been struggling to fathom out what happened to you. I have had to confess that the rumors are all true, but I'm still mad about you. How can I lose you now? I let it slip I would want you back somehow. I gotta get a grip. Maybe you might give me some latitude, give me a clue. I'm up for changing my attitude, long overdue. 'Cause I'm still mad about you. I'm still mad about you.
Grab a cup, buckle up, and tune in to Route 66, Sunday morning from 7 to 9 on WRFG. It's a devilish cruise through the blues, jump, R&B, boogie-woogie, early rock and roll, and jukebox jazz.
That two-beat pattern is the music brought to the United States of America by the communist conspiracy to corrupt teenagers, and it's in every rock and roll number.
That's right, we have fun playing all that dangerous music from the 40s and 50s that guys like that didn't want teenage America to hear, plus songs from artists who are still keeping the tradition alive today. So please join us for Route 66, Sunday from 7 to 9 a.m. on WRFG. In Atlanta, we're 89.3 FM. Your independent community radio station is rocking around the world on our free mobile app and WRFG.org.
That being the swing version, there are two versions of this amazing song, I'm Still Mad About You. And it's absolutely clear to me, having played the album 3 or 4 times, why you would later on in the album do a shuffle version. There's something about that song. They're all wonderful, 10 wonderful songs. I'll even admit to the country one. But there's just something in that. It's positive romance.
Yeah.
It's to me, I call it the crush song. You say Mad About You. And over here, I guess, it connects with a lot of people simply for a couple of things. I guess the word mad about you in that context is supposed to mean enthusiastically fond, meaning it's not, X certificate, but there was a big hit in '86 by Belinda Carlisle, and then just last year, a big TV show, both for sale. And I think it will resonate with a huge range of people, but that is just one killer song. Lyrics and everything, the way that melody captures you, and it gives you a belief. And I don't know which of the things you went through brought that song up, but you were absolutely right to do another version.
I'm glad you said that. We really enjoyed doing it the other way. As soon as we did the big band version, the arranger said, this could be a hip-hop record. And I said, what the hell is that? I know what R&B is, and I know what jazz is, but I haven't followed the new genres, and I can't really tell the difference when I hear them.
I think it's Harry Belafonte.
Anyway, but yeah, it's what it made me think of was the way that Cole Porter used to write songs, and I think you could say it's a student of Cole Porter thinking, that song. You couldn't get better anyway.
No.
Better somebody to sort of strive towards. And I think I'd just seen Midnight in Paris with Woody Allen. I don't mean I went to the movie.
I'm glad you didn't go with him, because you would need to go back through the sheep dip if you did.
And Cole Porter appears there. So yeah, maybe that's where that song came from in my. I wish I was as good as that guy. We all strive to be the very best we can be, or we should do.
Yeah.
That's really the story of my life. I'm not striving to be the richest man. I'm not striving to get a Rolls Royce and a position in life. I'm striving to be the best that I can be, and that's the one thing that I think I've done with this album. Is the best that I can be, and that's good enough for me.
Well,
it's the best that I can be, and it's good enough for me.
See, to me, after listening to that the first time around, what I do is I have a quick mental note of what stood out. And by the second time around, that's the song that wakes me up in the night. If I'm awake at night, I get up and make a cup of tea, chocolate biscuit, put the TV on for 30 minutes, 4 in the morning. I did it this morning. Couldn't sleep. My brain won't shut down. That's the song that comes in my head. And then I know that's going to be the lead song. It's not always what everybody agrees with, and I don't care. But what caught me was I believe that's the one that you promoted as a potential single, or is a single. I don't know. I'm too far away. But I can hear it
starting off. I can hear it starting the show. It's a crowd. It's an opener.
Yeah.
It's an opener. You have to have a strong song for an opener, and it just sounds like an opener.
That's another big thing that people get wrong. As George Harrison used to say about having the walking order. Right, getting the order of the songs is a hugely important factor if you care about, sales and revenues, and you have record labels that have demands. It actually has a big impact. And the way you set it out, because there is such a range of things in there, I haven't rearranged it. I annoy my friends by rearranging the order of albums, by changing the track number and putting it back in the library, because it's a digital library,
Right.
So that's the way it should have been done. This one I won't touch. It's right on the money, spot on.
Yeah, we spent a long time doing it. I have to credit my wife with that. She came up with the final.
Did you say it loud enough for her?
Yes, I did. She got ears like a bat.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jeepers. Number 8. Unusual for you to do a cover. I recall that's a weird thing. I've forgotten about that. Didn't you do an album of Michael Frank's stuff?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was in honor of him because when you could divide my life into bass player and part-time songwriter, and then you get to a certain point and the guy's become an artist, whereas as a bass player he's a musician.
Right.
And there's a distinct difference. And I wasn't confident about singing for years and years and years. I started with J.J. Cale, anybody that didn't have a voice, really. And I was doing gigs on my own. And I discovered Michael Franks on a trip to L.A. in, I don't know, it was 78 or something like that. And I got very excited because I thought, well, similar kind of vibe, I'll start doing some of his. And gradually, all these other artists that I didn't feel inferior about, you don't try out a Stevie Wonder song if you can't sing, do you?
Right.
Unless you're nuts, But there are certain people that you can do, in a set. And Michael Franks was a very strong influence for, 3 or 4 years back in the late 70s, early 80s. Then I started going out on my own and developing a guitar style and a vocal style. And the more I did it, the more it became me. And in the end, Michael had served his purpose, and I felt I owed it to him for giving me a lift, if you like, because I wasn't confident. I am now, but for years I wasn't confident, and I had to make a living. I had to go out and face an audience, and I did very well. I did 20 years on the road of doing places where you have to be a lion tamer in some of these bars.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially when the buggers aren't listening. That's
and I did very well. I always got booked back. It was a pretty basic arrangement. If you sell more booze than the guy last week, I book you back. I always sold more booze than the bloke last week. And we didn't get any more musical than that. But it did work for me for a long time, and because the voice developed a bit, and you got the gravelly sound, and you became yourself. You became an artist in your own right. And the Michael Franks album is a nod to say, I haven't forgotten, Michael. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a wonderful testimonial, because at the time I was a big Michael Franks fan.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, from that period. I haven't listened in a while because my brain moved on, and he hasn't done much either because, he's probably bought his own island in Hawaii and all the things that you and I despise.
Well, Warner Brothers dropped him, like they dropped James Taylor. They dropped everybody, they dropped all the talent and started signing... we won't go there.
Well, no, let's make sure we slag all the major labels before we're done. Okay, so we've done Warner and Atlantic. We're okay. But yeah, it was the reason I mentioned it, because we diverted from talking about track number 8, which was a cover on this album, and the only one, is because those of you out there that are listening, talking to Gordon Haskell about a wonderful new jazzy love album that's full of romance, but full of every kind of genre you can think, called The Cat Who's Got the Cream. But this song, you will all know, is an old song by Johnny Mercer from 1958, and Jeepers Creepers. But here's where we have to talk about Paul Buck. That arrangement is so completely reinventing the song, and it melts perfectly with your voice. I mean, the guy is amazing.
Well, Paul Buck is amazing on this whole album, but that is the one song where it was my arrangement.
Oh, sorry. It says on the artwork that it was him. Apologies.
Yeah. I credited him. Erase what I just said. It was my feel. I'd been kicking the song around for years, and I played it down, and he played the keyboards, and then we went from there. But yeah, I mean, he is the arranger, the technical arranger, and but the idea of doing it was from years of kicking it around and wondering, is it strong enough for a set? Well, I never included it in a set because there was only me on one guitar, or a couple of guitar players. So you needed the whole band to make it work. So Paul Buck provided all that. Paul Buck's fantastic on this album.
Well, I'm glad that you corrected me, and I'm pleased to hear that, because I couldn't figure out how that came around. You've made my mind up for me now, because I really wasn't sure what we were going to play next. I was just going to wait and see how this conversation went. That's the wonderful thing about not being controlled. There are no handcuffs here. If I decide to switch a song, I switch a song. End of. So we are actually going to play track number 8 from this album, Jeepers Creepers, and I think anyone that knows this song is going to go.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Oh, those weepers, how they hypnotize. Gosh, you'll get up, well, how they get so lit up. Gosh, you'll get up, how they get that size, how they hypnotize. Golly gee, when you put your heaters on, woe is me, I gotta put my cheaters on. they hypnotize. Guys sure get up. Well, how they get so lit up. Guys sure get up. How they get that size. How they hypnotize.